Hi guys. This week's topic is on hoodoo or voodoo or VooDoo. Okay, our question today comes to us from Art Lily 8. My question is simply, what are your thoughts and opinions on the practice and teaching of voodoo? And do you know of any resources? It's a practice that has fascinated me since childhood, but nothing that I have actually delved in, given its nature for being very harmful if practiced the wrong way. Also, its lack of resources that actually teach the practices. I was raised on the South and my family is originally from New Orleans area, or the swamp. So I know its history like the back of my hand. Also, I've noticed within the pagan community, it's almost like a taboo subject. It catches a bad rap just like everything else in paganism. Very well said, I agree. But similar to, it also has a positive influence to its practitioners, so why is it considered the evil twin of other pagan practices? Is it just the way history has portrayed it, or is it really something pagans just don't do? And I'm going to be sharing with you what I found in just the short time that I have been studying on this topic, doing some research. And I can see very many similarities with the spell work of witchcraft and that of voodoo. Setting aside the fact of the witchcraft, or how was it put by someone I was watching, the sorcery of voodoo, there is, like with many other people, searching for their own deeper spiritual understanding along a path, an awakening for those people into hoodoo. And what I noticed is that it was a strong draw of generational descent for the mixing of traditions of African descent through the slave trades of those Africans into Haiti, with the blend of traditions from the native people there, also the blending of Christianity or Catholicism, also with the blending here in the Americas of those souls of the slave trade. And with that, the awakening of the deeper understanding comes with it the worship of the ancestor spirit, Old and New Testament of the Bible, King James, rhythm, drums, life, death, earth, wise old mother. As for the negative views of this way of worship or spiritual practice, I believe it is just as much misconception that has led to the fear and hate. Misunderstandings from the modern view of sacrifice, killings of fowl or other livestock as a true definition of sacrifice. If we could visualize for a moment our modern way of life now, how everything we need is at the touch of our hand. You need the water to come out of the faucet, simply turn on the faucet and you have water. You need food to put on your plate, you go to the grocery store and buy that food. If we take ourselves out of that modern mindset, we can start to visualize and understand how those animal sacrifices would be the true definition of a sacrifice. Because sacrifice is something that would be greatly missed. And as our ancestors lived off of the land, that cow or that chicken or that pig was our life. It was our money. It was our status. And to remove that animal from the living existence that it was once in, bringing us substantial living, it was a real sacrifice. Imagine you only had 2 pigs, and there was very little rain that year. The crops were not flourishing. That animal became a sacrifice to symbolize that group's intent of, we give of the land and we honor this animal's spirit for what it has given to us, in hopes that we will receive from our ancestral ancestors, our spirits, our God, will grant us the strength and the need to carry on. So it's not like we see it today, where you're driving along and there has been a squirrel or a deer that was hit by a car and it just gets left to rot on the side of the road. The sacrificed animal of that time would not be put to waste. It was used. Every part of the animal was used. Yes, the death and the blood flow was part of the sacrifice. However, the animal would then be prepared as any farmer would prepare its cattle or livestock or pig or chicken or whatnot to eat on the table for dinner time. Skinned, quartered, cooked up, and prepared in a feast that was all in honor and thanks to the spirit. Misconceptions of terminology truly is the destruction of a culture. Because one person will have been raised one way and then they hear a word that is common in another culture, but to them it is something to be feared or hated or mistrusted. So terminology, if we get past the terminology of these words like witchcraft, of voodoo, of animal sacrifice, whatnot, and start to actually open up our understanding to what these things really are, that is when we have that awakening into spiritual understanding. I was just going somewhere. And we do live in the modern world where we do have what we need most of the time at the touch of our hand. We have no need, as far as I'm concerned, for animal sacrifices. It doesn't have the same meaning to our world's cultures, generally speaking, as it once did. I'm not saying that people still don't do it, because I'm sure that there are groups that do it, and that is their spiritual practice. With what I have found out, I will link all of my resources that I found below, so please go and check those out. There was one very current video, I think it was from 2013 or 2012. It's an hour-long video that's on YouTube, that has a group of people talking about the origins of voodoo, hoodoo, hoodoo, and where it has progressed, and their different takes on it in a group discussion. So I think that for the other part of your question, if for anybody who is interested in learning about hoodoo, if you believe in the teachings of the Bible, you believe that Jesus Christ was a real person, and if you want to know more, these are my recommendations down below. And maybe they will be a starting point for your research. But as you search and learn all that you can, just like in any pagan path or any spiritual path you want to begin, it's learn, 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 and then grow, grow, grow. You will find the group and the understandings that you are connected to. Many blessings. Goodbye.